time for your first chance to react to tonight's Lakers game.
The Lakers win Game 1 of the series against the Grizzlies.
Behind the three-point line, D'Lo dribbles right, give it to LeBron. Three-pointer by LeBron, good! And the Lakers lead by 7. Timeout, Memphis.
Lakers with a big Sunday win.
It's the Pizza Hut Lakers postgame show.
Delivered by new melts from Pizza Hut. Cheesy, crispy, and loaded with toppings for just $6.99. Enough for 2, price for 1. New Pizza Hut melts, only at Pizza Hut.
Lakers basketball is a final.
877-710 ESPN.
It's the Pizza Hut Lakers postgame show.
Tipping off now.
All right, 1 down, 15 to go. Right, isn't the goal to win a championship? The goal is to win a championship. 1 down, 15 to go. Lakers all over the Memphis Grizzlies. 128 to 112 the final score. Lakers 1-0 to start round 1, game 1 of the series. What a start for the Lake Show. What an incredible start for the Lake Show. And it has to be a demoralizing loss for the Memphis Grizzlies. You win 51 games in the regular season, and just like that, home court is taken away from you, and the Lakers now have just an unbelievable opportunity coming up on Wednesday to go 2-0. And just kind of knowing what this Lakers team has been since the All-Star break, they're going to be greedy and selfish, and don't expect them to take their foot off the gas pedal now that we're here in the playoffs. Now that they also get rest, now that they get opportunities in between games to get ready, it's the same team. You don't have to travel. There's a lot of things that go to the Lakers' advantage in a 7-game set like this once the playoffs start. But 128 to 112, the final score. Hats off to so many different players in today's game, but specifically, we just cannot talk about this game without what Austin Reaves and what Rui did. Just incredible, incredible performances from those two players in crunch time as well. Whether it's Rui was a little bit more balanced. Reaves, a lot of it kind of came towards the end. On top of that, Anthony Davis had 7 block shots. 22, 12, 3 steals and 7 block shots. Bron, 21 and 11, plus 3 blocks and 2 steals. D'Lo gave you 19 points and 7 assists. That's on top of the 29 points from Rui and 23 from Austin Reaves. I just don't know how you're going to beat a Lakers team like that with that many different weapons contributing and that type of defense too. A lot of the offense that the Lakers got was coming from good defensive stops, some good stops on the defensive end, and Lakers find a way to make it happen. 128 to 112 the final score. Need a break from the everyday? Well, fans, it might be your lucky day, because today Fantasy Springs Resort Casino is giving away 2-night stay, plus dinner and golf or bowling for 2. Make any day your lucky day. Book now at FantasySpringsResort.com. All right, phone number is 877-710-ESPN, 877-710-ESPN. So whether you're out listening on the radio, listening on the ESPN LA app, or on all our social platforms, we're live on all our social platforms as well. You can always feel free to call into the show. Let's start off with listening to Lakers head coach Darvin Ham on the big win in Memphis.
First of all, just down the stretch there with Austin initiating so much of that offense after Rui had stepped up as he did. What were you looking for there? How did that develop naturally in your thoughts?
I thought it just developed naturally, and it was slightly deliberate. Both Austin and D'Lo, we like just changing it up a little bit, changing the music, and sometimes it's Bron setting it, sometimes it's A. Sometimes we run a double pick and roll with both of them in it, so a small and a big, but thought he did, I know just him, his ability to get downhill, get in the paint, draw fouls. He's an excellent mid-range scorer, can also get all the way to the hoop, pull back on a read screen, shoot a 3, so it was good. We had a lot of guys rolling, had their own segments of the game offensively, and defensively down the stretch, we were able to lock in and get some stops, some key stops, and hold them in one possession.
Towards that end, 7 blocks for AD, 3 steals, and uncounted number of other impacted plays. So what did you see from him defensively?
He's our linebacker. Just our middle linebacker, a guy that's just seeing everything in front of him, talking to the guys, just protecting the rim, being a presence in the paint, his activity, his energy on that side of the ball. He's a great active hands as well. So anything low, anything high, he can account for. But the communication amongst all the guys were great. A set a tone. I told him before the game started, I need you to set a tone. Be that guy. And he did it. And so, his biggest mark that needs to be made consistently throughout is on the defensive end. We know what he can do offensively. He had some great moments there too, but defensively, I thought he was unbelievable.
Darvin, how's AD's shoulder, and can you take us back to that moment of just kind of the uncertainty, obviously going into halftime, and then him going through some tests and then coming back out in the second half?
Well, the shoulder is fine. I think it was just a stinger. He got caught in the fray. His body's crashing, banging some people in the air, some people coming down on your shoulder. Then he got hit. Someone landed on top of him as he was going up and got a stinger. So that was good news to know that it wasn't anything beyond that. Just happy he's okay. I instructed our medical team to get him to the back immediately and start the evaluation process and testing it out, and he was able to finish the game.
Darvin, LeBron took one shot in the fourth. I think AD, up until the final maybe 70 seconds, took one shot in the fourth. What did it say about those guys and kind of making the right play, that the trust that they had in a team, in the rest of the team, and how validating is that for this group, considering how still relatively new it can be?
I think it's huge, man. And, the game and the opponent's defense usually dictates where the ball is going to go or who's going to have to step up and make plays. Excuse me. Obviously, they want to take LeBron out of it. They want to take away AD. So other guys, they have to be ready to step up and make plays. You saw it with Rui. You saw it with Austin, D'Lo. Dennis, he had some good moments just playing downhill to the rim. So, that's a big part of it. That's a part of why, we made the moves we made to have multiple threats, and where the defense can't just lock and key in on our two captains, and then, in turn we struggle. We have a plethora of guys that can make plays with and without the ball in their hands.
Darvin, how big was it to have Jared do what he did against Ja there, especially in the first half?
It's a testament to him, and it's a teachable moment for all young basketball players out there. They just think, it's all about making threes or dunking on people or whatever. If you're able to, lock in defensively, rebound, really embrace that role, there'll always be a place for you on a high-level basketball team in a high-level league such as the NBA. So, his ability to just lock in and be selfless, taking tough matchups, diving on the floor, doing the dirty work, setting screens, going to the second and third action when he's involved, is great. It's invaluable, and I'm just happy we have an asset like that on our roster.
We all kind of saw, as you came towards the end of the regular season and even in the playing game, it wasn't your sharpest basketball. You were still winning games, but not necessarily your sharpest basketball. What combination of the time off to rest this past week led to the execution today, or how much was it actually just guys playing really well on top of that?
I think it's a combination of both. Guys feeling refreshed, and also us looking at ways we can improve on that side of the ball. We were well aware of everything you just mentioned. Last week of the season or so, the play-in game where possessions got away from us. We threw away possessions with no pass or one pass, then shot, turnovers, and a little bit of that reared its head in the second quarter. But we went through the film, watched a lot of film on ourselves, and that's a hell of a team over there. Elite defensive team, and so your no pass shot, one pass shot is not going to work. You got to be ready to initiate quickly with pace. And 9 times out of 10, they're going to take away that first option that you're looking for. But you got to be able to play to a second or third side and keep the ball moving. And I thought our guys did a hell of a job doing that. But just the film study, the feedback, the communication amongst the guys and the players to the coaches to the players was phenomenal. And again, it wasn't anyone trying to prove themselves to be right or their way is the best way. It's like, how can we best extract the most production as we can out of this group? And this is how, and this is what's going to work against this team. This is what we need to explore. This is what we need to leave to the side. So I thought it was a combination of all of that, being fresh and really taking a deep, hard look at our offense and what's been good and what's been bad.
Darvin, you're down 6 at the half, dealing with AD's stinger. You guys come back with a 37-point third quarter. What specifically did you like in that third that they executed from what you talked about at halftime?
I mean, just being aware. We talked about transition defense coming into the game. There were some times where Jaren got loose, and we left our guy on the island. We could have had a bigger crowd, more activity around that matchup, or whoever was guarding them. And then, offensively, not throwing away possessions, turning the ball over. Had a couple of plays where guys went in, collapsed the defense. You see 3-4 blue jerseys around one white jersey, and that guy in our uniform still trying to shoot the ball as opposed to spraying it out and making a simple play, simple pass. So we hit on that, but also we stayed positive and stayed encouraged, knowing that there's gonna be ebbs and flows to every NBA game, and especially in playoff time. You can't get discouraged. You got to have a next play mentality, and with each possession, trying to get it right, consistently, at possession after possession after possession. And I thought the guys really zoned in and really did that.
Darvin, Hachimura had a DNP just I think it was a dozen games ago. Did you have any conversations with him around that time? And I guess how have you seen his confidence kind of grow in the weeks since then that kind of led to maybe the fearlessness that he showed today?
Yeah, that DNP was kind of on me. I went rogue with our rotation. But since then, he and I had a conversation. I love Rui. I mean, he's one of the brightest young men I've ever been around and had the opportunity to coach in my life. And he's multifaceted. He's strong. He has great hands. He can get out and run. He can go up top. Very, very athletic, and really can put the ball in a hole, as you saw today. But just encouraging him to be assertive, aggressive. You could see when he first arrived, he could try to, sort of tiptoe around LeBron and AD, trying to figure out where his spots would come. And I just look, man, they're going to figure it out. These guys want to see you in a position to help them as much as you want to help them. So, he listened. We watched film. We highlighted certain things in film sessions with him, and we're seeing the fruits of that labor. I told him just go out and play free, be aggressive, and the only mistake you could make on this team is just to not compete and not play together with your teammates. That's it. Those only two. We'll figure out all the particulars and the coverages and what strategic actions we want to run offensively, but at its core, you just have to be competitive and, a willing participant with your teammates.
Lakers head coach Darvin Ham right there. Lakers all over the Memphis Grizzlies in Game 1, 128-112 the final score. And you can hear Coach talking specifically about Rui. We'll get a chance to hear from Rui. We'll get a chance to hear from Austin Reaves as well. But going out of his way, you guys remember this a few games ago, gets that DNP, did not play in one of these games down the stretch. And I love Darvin's explanation. No, we knew we were going to use him. He had his opportunity tonight in his first postseason game with the Lakers, just delivers. I mean, you literally cannot ask for anything more of what Rui was able to do this afternoon. Okay, when we come back, we're going to take some of your phone calls. I know there's a lot of Laker fans out there that want to chat about this game, so we'll do that, 877-710-ESPN. Plus, we'll get a chance to hear from Austin Reaves. I want to squeeze this in here real quick. The latest on Ja Morant. Tim McMahon had put out X-rays on Ja Morant were negative, according to Taylor Jenkins. He's in some pain. The Grizzlies medical staff is evaluating Ja Morant and wrist. He was already dealing with an injury to that hand. All right, your phone call's coming up next. Stay right here. This is the Pizza Hut Lakers postgame show on 710.
Postgame Show.
Highlights from tonight's Lakers game and your reaction on the Lakers line.
Presented by Pizza Hut.
Big is back. It's bigger, it's cheesier. The Big New Yorker from Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut. Big pizza, bigger deal. $13.99 Big New Yorker. Only at pizzahut.com.
Hi, this is Anthony Davis of your Los Angeles Lakers.
Hi, it's LeBron. The Lakers play here.
It's time for Lakers Postgame with Sliwa.
Now, here's Alan Sliwa.
All right, Points in the Paint all season long is sponsored by Vista Paint. Right now, local residents can take 40% off on factory direct high-quality Vista Paint products. A Vista Paint team member will show you how. Locally owned, manufactured, and operated since 1956. Visit vistapaint.com and start saving. Lakers all over the Grizzlies. Final score tonight or today, 128-112. Points in the paint, both teams with 56 apiece. So good battle, points in the paint wise. I did mention that Tim McMahon, who covers the NBA for ESPN, put out a tweet that X-rays on Ja Morant were negative, according to Taylor Jenkins, who's obviously the coach of the Grizzlies. That was just kind of a disappointing stretch of the game, right? You got Ja Morant, obviously their best player, leaves the game after that injury, just runs straight back to the locker room. That was it. You weren't going to see him the rest of the way. And the Lakers clearly took advantage. Lakers, by the way, ended up outscoring Memphis by 22 points in the second half. So just the second half alone ended up outscoring Memphis 128-112. All right, let's take a few phone calls here before we go to Austin Reaves. Chris in Palmdale. Chris, thanks for calling, bud.
Big Daddy Sleep. Ooh-wee. How about them Lakers, baby?
What's going on, Chris? Tell me what kind of stood out to you today?
Man, Coach Ham coached a hell of a game. And, I know he takes a lot of slack, and a lot of people don't give this guy any credit. But, the substitutions, I knew he had them beat when Schroeder wanted to stay in. And he kept them when Schroeder picked up the third foul, and Schroeder wanted to stay in. And then he let him play 2 more minutes and then said, nope, I'm taking you out. That, to me, just showed, okay, cool. No one's going to tell him. He's going to coach his game. Schroeder was a little upset. Look at what D'Angelo did when he came back in. Stepped up his game, even though D'Angelo was, he was playing horrible at first. And then, boom, it worked. His defensive mind, the way he pumps up Rui. And look at Rui. Reaves, we already know what that boy can do, so we love Reaves. So
well, Chris, I'll jump in. I appreciate you calling in. I'll take it. Let me kind of, as best as I can, explain. And this happens with a lot of coaches in the league, especially first-year head coaches like Darvin Ham. And I get it. I understand it's completely okay, but you're kind of looking for things like, you know what, why'd he do this? Or why'd he do that? I tweeted out during the game, Jaren Jackson was having the type of game he was, but AD wasn't in foul trouble in that fourth quarter. I wanted to see, why don't you just put AD on Jaren Jackson? Let Anthony Davis try to shut him down. The Lakers were basically using AD as kind of a safety, a floater. Just basically got to hang around the basket whenever he can help. He was going to help. But regardless, I think a couple things that you mentioned. I think the mere fact that he kept guys in that were performing is good enough for me, period. Too many times you see these coaches say, we got to go with the script. Yeah, but sometimes what you had planned before the game started to where you're sitting today or where you're sitting in a certain situation of the game, it's going to change. Who would have thought Rui Hachimura was going to have that hot of a hand? You even heard it on the national broadcast. They were saying, hey, let Rui shoot. And every time Rui shot, there was good things that were happening. And I'm not telling you that's going to happen every single night, but usually the closing five is the same closing five. Lakers just kind of went with a five that they thought was going to work. Dennis Schroeder in that game against the Minnesota Timberwolves, he was in that game late and D'Angelo wasn't because Schroeder was having a better game. Everybody always talks about who's starting. The bigger question is who's closing, because whoever's going to eventually close that game typically is the hottest player or the best player or the best defender or whatever they're doing. They got to be contributing in some way. Leon in Beverly Hills. What's going on, Leon?
Hey, thanks a lot, Alan. Hey, I gotta say that over the last couple of years since the Lakers have had LeBron, I can't remember really a time when he would sort of defer and let the hot hand kind of close out a game. And I think that's really key for this team to really transition to a point where he does not have to be the guy with the ball at the end of the games. He's not at that place in his career anymore. Reaves has got the hot hand. Last in the play-in game, he got the big pass to Schroeder, and I got to give a lot of credit to both him and Coach Ham for getting that sort of dynamic going with this team, because I think that this team can thrive when he does not feel like he has to close out or be the man. And one other quick point I want to make, I think that fans are way too hard on Anthony Davis. The guy plays tough. The guy plays, he had 6 block shots. He came back from injury. And, yeah, he's injury prone, but, I mean, other than knocking him for that, I think he's a stud.
Okay, so, Leon, appreciate you calling in. On your first point there about LeBron deferring, it was one of the things I started the postgame show with. It's, what do you really want teams to do? If LeBron and Anthony Davis weren't even the focal point in that fourth quarter and the Lakers still outscored a team by 10 or by 22 in the second half, I don't really know what some of those solutions are. Now, I'm not telling you that Rui's going to score 29 every game, but you're right. LeBron was deferring. And I think part of LeBron deferring is the confidence of, I got guys who are in here and already making it happen. What's the goal here, to win the game or to have the ball in my hand? And clearly the goal was go win the game. Bron was kind of hanging out on the perimeter saying, hey, if anybody needs me, I'm here. When's the last time you've seen that from LeBron James? That's not always going to be the case. There's going to be plenty of games where Bron's going to have the ball. He's going to be making a decision at the end like he did against Minnesota, whether hitting that 3 or finding Dennis Schroeder in the corner. But that was, I don't know if refreshing is the right word, but it just kind of lets you know, and I'm sure for Bron, that's got to be a great feeling to know as well, that we could still win this game, and I'm not dominating the game, or I don't have to have the ball in my hands. Okay, let's take a quick listen. Here's Austin Reaves on the Lakers' big win, 128-112. Austin Reaves with 23 points.
How did those actions come about? What were you reading? What was the conversation on the court, and how did you end up executing like you did?
It was really just playing basketball. Obviously, when you got guys like Bron and AD, it makes life a little easier. But it's the games is not the same. It's more physical and stuff like that. But like the little stuff in basketball, stays the same regardless. Regular season and playoffs. So we closed the game great. And that's really it.
Austin, after a couple of those buckets, you ran back toward the bench yelling, I'm him, I'm him. Well, what was that moment like for you and just kind of everything that was going on in your head?
It's a lot of emotions. You dream about being, on a stage like this. The best basketball players in the world. It's the playoffs, and, I got hot late and, have fun.
At halftime, I don't know if you guys had a sense for what AD's status was. Memphis had gone on a run. What were the adjustments that were made? Was there anything major? And then, I think you guys end up winning the second half, 69 to 45 or 47 or something like that. Like, what was the big difference?
We didn't really know, what AD's status was. So we were talking about next man up mentality. If something was bad wrong with him, thank God that nothing major's wrong with him. And it was it was really just focusing on ourselves. I felt like there was stretches in the first half that we talked about in halftime that we kind of let it get away from ourselves. So it was more so about us. Obviously, you make little adjustments here and there, how the game's going for them as well. But it was more so about us.
Were you as calm as a group as it seemed? I mean, after halftime and whatnot, because it didn't seem like anybody, was worried or concerned at all.
Yeah, they made the run, at the end of the second, and kind of felt like the game should have been, 10-12, but you look up and it's 6. So it's not like, you're getting beat, like I said, 12, 15, 10 going into half. We led most of the first half. But like I said, the run, You look up, and we played consistent basketball for the most part the first half, and you look up after a run like that, and instead of it being 12 to 15, it's 5-6. So there wasn't really anything to worry about. It's a game of runs, so that was really what was talked about in the locker room.
Austin, the way you guys ended the regular season and even in the playing game, it wasn't necessarily your sharpest basketball. So did you guys have any trepidation or anxiousness going into this one, wondering whether you could, turn it up to this level? Or was there any signs that maybe you thought, oh, we will play at this level coming into today?
Yeah, I think it really started with AD and Bron's preparation and, how locked in they were. Not the day after we won against Minnesota, but the next day when we met, it was no joking, no nothing. They were super locked in, communicating what we could do to be great. And when you have those two guys like that, you don't have any choice but to follow the lead. So I feel like we have a lot of talent. So that wasn't really a worry. It's just, when we lock in, we feel like, we got a really good chance regardless.
Austin, what did you see out of your backcourt mate, D'Angelo, compared to the play-in game and tonight?
D'Lo is a really, really good basketball player. And I think what, people were, talking about for him during the play-in game or after the play-in game was, he didn't play well, but you go back and look, and he had 8 assists. He's so unselfish that carries a long way for a group. When he comes off a pick and roll, swing, or you kick it to him for what he has a 3, but he throws the extra. It goes a long way. So it's not always about what you see, on the stat sheet. And then obviously tonight he was big. What do you have? 19 points, 7 assists. He's, like I said, he's really good, and it's not always about what you see on here. It's other stuff too in the locker room, him instilling confidence in me and the rest of the guys as well.
All right, that's Austin Reaves right there on the Lakers win over the Memphis Grizzlies. If you're just tuning in right now, 128-112 the final score. Austin Reaves goes for 23. Rui Hachimura leads all scores for the Lakers with 29 points. We're going to go to Rui in just a second. Before we do, Scooter in L.A. Scooter, thanks for calling in. What's going on?
Hey, Alan, how you doing, man?
Good, brother. Thanks for calling in.
Well, yeah, I was a little concerned coming in the game because they looked tired and sluggish, at the end of the season, So I was like, man, I hope they can just turn on the switch. And today they look fresh and strong, especially in that fourth quarter. And if Reaves and D'Angelo could continue to play like that, and LeBron and AD still get theirs, they're going to be unbeatable, man. We can end this series in 5 games.
Well, Scooter, I appreciate you calling in. I think I think your concern coming into the game is fair, and I think they were fresh. I think they had time off, right? This wasn't – if the Lakers played the Memphis Grizzlies, Lakers had Minnesota on Tuesday. If they had Game 1 on Thursday, yeah, they probably wouldn't have been fresh, but they didn't have it till Sunday. So a lot of time in between for the Lakers that worked to their advantage. Okay, let's go to Rui Hachimura, get his thoughts on the Lakers win.
Able to have this kind of an impact in your first playoff game for the Lakers?
I've been watching film with Phil, Coach Phil. He always told me those going to be the practice shot for me, because the way that how they guard me is going to be like, they're gonna be in the paint. So I got to be ready to shoot those type of shot. And in just the first half, I just didn't get as much, I didn't get as much ball. So that's why, I couldn't really, shoot that. But like the second half, we were in a good rhythm. Everybody was sharing the ball, and all those shots just came to me. So I just, I was in the confidence to shoot a shot.
You tied for the most points in a Laker playoff game off the bench ever with Michael Thompson, of course, doing the radio now for the Lakers. What was just the feedback initially from your teammates on the court in the locker room for this kind of contribution?
It's funny, just they since I got here, this team, they really believe in me, my shots and my defense side, like everything, what I do, and It just the before the game and before the game, the coaches, everybody, including Phil and like Braun and AD, like they gave me all the green lights, to shoot all those shots, because they told me I'm a good shooter, and so like I was even confident, I was very comfortable in shooting those threes, so yeah.
Rui, you had your shot going, and then you have that dunk early in the fourth quarter. Is that even a play that you're attempting to make at the rim if you don't have the confidence of everything else flowing?
Yeah, I was making shots. I knew, Jaren Jackson, he's gonna try to block the shot, every shot. So I just pump fake, and then I just went to the rim, strong. It was funny, like just like yesterday or 2 days ago. The whole team, we got in not an argument, like in a conversation about my dunk package is kind of weak, so and I was showing all the my highlights on the YouTube, and they're like, no, they don't like that. So I told them, I said, look, like this series I'm gonna have one, so just watch, and it happened today. So they just told me, I said, yeah, they got I got one. So yeah, it's just the way they. With me, talking like just they told me to be more aggressive. They want me to be aggressive on the offense side, defense side, both sides. So yeah, that's what I did today. Yeah.
Hey Rory, what was your reaction when you saw AD go into the locker room at halftime, and then what was your reaction when you found out he was coming back for the second half?
Oh yeah, that was tough. I remember he said he can't move the right arm or something. So I'm like, oh my God, it might be over. But in the halftime, everybody talk about next man up. We gotta be ready. It is what it is. And then I think the second half we started, and then AD was just dunking. So I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, he was fine. Yeah, it's the playoff. It's more physical, and then, they're not gonna call fouls. They're usually called and stuff. So it's going to be, especially though they're a young team, so, they got to be physical, to play against us. That's the way, that's how they can win, if they can beat us, So we just got to be more, we got to set the, the tone, the same, same energy, much the same energy, and we just got to be more physical, yeah.
Rui, you mentioned that guys were kind of teasing you about your dunk package earlier this week. Who in particular?
It was AD, Austin, yeah, those two especially for sure. Yeah, they'll talk about my dunks, before like literally. We've been literally talking about this whole week. That's this past week, so it was funny. Yeah.
Just since you came here, you kind of mentioned about, I know you've talked a lot about LeBron before, but him and AD telling you stuff, and I guess how much the way you view yourself as a basketball player, how has that changed since you've come here?
Oh, yeah, it's amazing. I'm able to walk out with him, especially LeBron. I've been walking out with him, the practice, the individual work. It's nobody can do that, in this world. Just few players can do that, end up on the same team and then, able to do like walk out with him, go through the workout with him, and he been teaching me a lot of stuff, and I can actually watch him, how he been doing it and stuff, and like his skill set and everything. I can watch right next to him. So and I can actually walk with him. So that's really helping me. And of course AD too. He's a great defender, and he has a good post game. Skill. So I just watch him like all the time. In the film, in the practice, in the game. It's amazing. Yeah.
All right, that's Rui Hachimura right there. How about Rui? 29 points off the bench, 11 of 14 from the field. Also had 6 rebounds, played 30 minutes for the Lakers, just a big-time W. We come back, we're going to get LeBron James' thoughts on this win. Plus, we'll take a look, start kind of previewing a little bit of Game 2. Stay right here. This is the Pizza Hut Lakers postgame show on 7.
highlights from tonight's Lakers game and your reaction on the Lakers line. The Los Angeles Lakers on 710 ESPN.
Presented by Pizza Hut.
Big is back. It's bigger, it's cheesier. The Big New Yorker from Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut. Big pizza, bigger deal.
Big New Yorker only at pizzahut.com.
Once again,
Here's Alan Sliwa.
All right, 128 to 112 the final score. Next game for the Lakers will be on Wednesday in Memphis. 4:30's tip-off, 3 p.m. We'll have the pregame show. So that's the next one for the Lake Show against the Memphis Grizzlies for Game 2. I want to read off a couple quotes here. Tim McMahon. Ja Morant says his status for Game 2 is in jeopardy. Was not able to use his right hand to undo a balled-up pair of socks. Feels like it's one thing after another. Ja Morant said the concern is only his hand, not his wrist, but he is definitely concerned about his ability to play on Wednesday night. So the day gets worse for the Memphis Grizzlies. Not only do you lose the game, not only do you lose home court advantage, but your best player, on top of, we talked a lot about this leading up to this series, Steven Adams and Brandon Clark. That changes everything for them. They can't be the team that they were built, where they have some size, they could get rebounds, and they can go. And now Ja Morant, his status in jeopardy for Game 2. The opportunity for the Lakers in Game 2, if Ja Morant is not there, obviously it changes everything. And I think for this Lakers team, you obviously want to see Ja Morant in the lineup. You want him to be healthy. But that fall, and he already was so taped up that not looking good for the Memphis Grizzlies. Let's put it that way. Let's take a listen here. Here's LeBron James. Let's get his thoughts on the Lakers win.
Just what's different about playoff games when you two get out there, and specifically for tonight's game, AD defensively, what did you see there?
Obviously we had great chemistry, and in the postseason, obviously, every possession is very important, and you got to dial in and understand assignments, things of that nature. So we've had pretty good success as a combo, and want to try to continue that. But tonight, it was our supporting cast that won us the game tonight, and obviously AD set the tone defensively with those 7 blocks and just changing shots at the rim, taking charges, things of that nature. But our supporting cast definitely brought us home.
You said pretty early on that Austin had earned your trust, for sort of obvious reasons for you. But how did it get to the point of tonight's that rhythm that he got in? What were you guys going to, and what was the focus there?
We trust him with the ball in his hands early in the game and late in the game. So we got something going in the fourth quarter, and after every stop, or if we didn't get a stop, whatever, I think Jaren Jackson went like a 5-0 run by himself when we went up 7. We went back to AR and just put the ball in his hands. He was able to hit a pull-up 2, able to hit a 3 when they kind of had a soft switch, and then hit another pull-up 2 to kind of put us up 8. So he closed the game for us offensively.
LeBron, you guys weren't as sharp as you had been over kind of the final last week of the regular season into the playing game, and Austin told us that, he had a feeling that the level of play would look a lot better from the group, starting with you and AD addressing the team on Thursday and kind of talking about locking in. As much as that message that you could share, could you tell something about what you were trying to tell the group about setting the tone for this playoff run?
Listen, we've kind of been in desperation, kind of playoff mode for about 2 months now, because we didn't really have much room for error to lose games or whatever the case may be if we wanted to put ourselves in a position to play right now. But when the playoffs start, it's even more dialed in and understanding assignments, not making mistakes. We can't have multiple possessions where we're not running back on defense, or we turn the ball over, and obviously, me and AD had the majority of the turnovers tonight. So even when we turn the ball over, we got to get back and set our defense. But offensively, defensively, you got to be as dialed in as you possibly can for 48 minutes. And I thought the guys definitely understood that assignment, and we're really good tonight. But I think we could be even better.
LeBron, Rui tied the Lakers record for most points off the bench in a playoff game. How important was he tonight, and just the timely shots that he hit as well?
It speaks for itself. He was huge. Like you said, he had timely shots. They made runs in the third quarter. He had 2 threes in a row. They made another run. In the fourth quarter, he had another 3 off of AR pump fake drive behind the back pass. He also had a beautiful turnaround baseline jumper by their bench. But he was just on time, on target all night tonight, and we needed that, especially coming off the bench, especially as well as their bench is. They got so many great players to come off their bench, so we was able to counter that with Rui's big game.
LeBron, speaking of Hachimura, he's talked a lot about just, your words and what they've meant to him in terms of just building his confidence. Obviously, he's like a really respectful kid. What have you found just about trying to unlock that thing in him? What is it? How have you been able to kind of get him to the point where he could have the kind of performance he did tonight? And also, just how happy were you for him?
I think that's just part of my leadership, being able to, find what sparks every individual to try to reach their potential. The same with Rui. I see the type of player he is, we can become, and I just try to stay in his ear, give him positive motivation, give him positive messages, let him know how important he is to our team. And in order for us to reach the goal that we want to reach, he has to be a huge part of that. So, and he wants to be. He's asked me multiple times, what can I do to help the team win? And I tell him exactly what I think he can do. And it's not about making shots. That happens. You can make shots, whatever the case may be. But his presence alone, his size, his athleticism, it just brings another dynamic to our ball club. And it's something that we didn't have early in the season when we had this type of length. Now with Vando and myself and AD and Rui, we got a lot of length out on the floor. So it definitely helps us be a complete team, and he's a really good player. I can't tell you everything. You have to pay attention. That's all. You have to pay attention on a day-to-day basis and know every individual is different. So you have to try to figure out how you can get the most out of every individual, and it's different ways. I think it comes from being a father, I think, too. Having 3 kids, I understand that, I got to, parent my kids differently to get the best out of them. Some of them I can yell at. Some of them I got to be more comforting, kind of, some I need to pull away to the side, and some I can yell in front of the group, and they be fine with that. So I think that helps.
Hey, LeBron. I apologize if you've been asked a version of this, but it's hard to think of a fourth quarter. I mean, I know AD got a couple dunks down the stretch, but a fourth quarter where I think the two you guys had taken only 2 field goal attempts for the big chunk of that. What does that say about the trust level that you've developed with Austin, Rui, D'Angelo, these guys? Even though it's I guess still a moderately new group, it felt like you really trusted those guys down the stretch?
Absolutely. I mean, we found something that was going. I mean, it's an old saying: if it's not broke, don't fix it. So, AR was able to see a couple shots go in, and we ran that pick and roll, the double pick and roll, where he was running the D'Lo said the first one, 80 clean up, and first one he was able to reject, get a pull up 2. Second one he came off, they had a switch, but they soft switch, he hit a 3. Came back down, he was able to hit another pull-up. Another one, they shrink the floor on one of them on me. I was able to, he came off, read it properly, kicked it to me, I was able to hit a 3. So it's just, when you know that you're playing with cerebral guys and guys who got high basketball IQ, then you trust that they'll make the right play for the team.
All right, that's LeBron James right there. Let me squeeze in a quick call, and then we get to Anthony Davis. Let's go to Don in City of Industry. Don, what's going on?
Oh, Alan, in the immortal words of Ric Flair, whoo, what a game. I was so happy. I was telling your screener that, it brings back memories of the other generations of Lakers when guys like Robert Horry, Mr. Big Shot, or D. Fish hits that shot and runs off the court, or Mr. Handsome Rick Fox can knock down shots. Or remember Ron Harper playing on one leg, making these key shots. So the big guys feel like they don't have to do everything. They do their part, but they don't have to do it all. And man, LeBron sounded so soft-spoken. So he sounded like a dad that had just been in the room when his wife delivered a baby. He just sounded like a proud papa. But he's so relaxed, because it just sounded fantastic. I just feel whatever happens, man, I feel so great.
Don, it's a good observation on the role players. So whether you're talking about, like you mentioned, right, the Rick Foxes of the world, or the Derek Fishers, Robert Ory, Devin George, Brian Shaw, go down the list, or maybe more recent with the Lakers, or even you say 10 years ago, Trevor Ariza had some moments, Meta World Peace had some moments, maybe Sasha had some big plays, D. Fish still on that squad as well, or the last championship run that the Lakers had, it's Rondo, it's Dwight Howard. You got to have role players that, yes, the stars are going to carry the team, but there might be a night where somebody else steps up that you weren't expecting, and that actually happens with every team in every sport. So that happened for the Lakers today with Rui and with Austin Reaves. All right, here's Anthony Davis on the Lakers win.
Play, so I'm not sure if he came down or just hit it or whatever, but had a little stinger where my arm went completely numb. It was weak. Couldn't lift it up or hold it up myself. Couldn't move it, and just went to the back early. We had maybe a couple seconds or a minute or so. Went to the back and just did some strength things, trying to get feeling back, and I was good to go.
A pretty dominant defensive performance from you, not just the blocks and the steals, but just taking away a lot in the middle where Ja wanted to get. How did that line up with what the game plan was, and what did you feel like ended up playing out for you on the court?
Yeah, obviously, Ja's the head of the snake. His pick and roll game is elite. He got the floaters. His launch pad. He jumps very high. Gets downhill. So I just want to take all that away, being up a little bit more, and just kind of making him see a crowd. You got to treat him as such, because he, blow by guys, and he's very shifty, 6 feet, so he's very slithery, and you just want to, draw a crowd, show a crowd, and make him, find other guys or shoot, a tough shot. Obviously he's good enough where he's going to make some, but just make it tough for him all game.
Austin said that you and LeBron kind of set the tone for how you guys approached Game 1 when you addressed the team on Thursday. How much can you share with us of what your message was? You spoke to the team on Thursday, I guess, film session or whatever you guys got together was. How much of your message can you share with us? Like, what did you want your younger teammates to know about the playoffs heading into this game?
No, I mean, we just kind of told them that playoffs are different. For us, we've been in playoff mode for 2 months, battling, but it's different, physicality increases as we saw today. Mental aspect is a lot different, valuing possessions, just things that, we learned throughout our course of our career being in the playoffs, and a lot of these guys have not been there, so we just want to, kind of harp on, what it takes to kind of be in the playoffs and what it takes to win games in the playoffs, especially a road game. And that's all it was about. Like, obviously, Game 1 is always a fill-out game, just kind of see what teams are doing. Both sides are doing. They see what we're doing, we see what they're doing, and just go out and just play hard and have fun, and we'll make adjustments accordingly. But that's kind of all we kind of told them.
AD, Rui had 29, Austin had 23, including 9 straight at that one point in the fourth. How important were their offensive contributions tonight? And then just moving forward, what you guys need from your supporting cast, like those types of nights?
Yeah, like I said, we got a lot of guys who can score the basketball. I think Rui hit 5 threes tonight. Austin being Austin. Just instilling confidence in these guys. We work on it in practice, where the shots are going to come from. And, Rui took advantage. Worked on those shots all yesterday, days before. Austin just obviously being himself. He's been playing at an elite level over the past, month and a half or so. And, their contribution tonight and their performance today, helped us get a victory. So we're going to continue to need, those guys. I think playoffs is all about, obviously, the guys are keying in on the stars. B. Bron trying to figure out how they can take us out the game. but you win games, playoff games with your role players, and that's exactly what happened tonight. Austin and Rui stepped up big.
AD, along those lines, I mean, I think if we sit down here in most fourth quarters and look, see, LeBron only took one shot in the fourth until those dunks late. I think you only had one shot at a time. Like most nights, that would be a bad sign for this team. What does that say about your trust level in this group and LeBron's trust level in this group, despite it being, really only a few months?
Yeah, like I said, guys make the right plays, and it's our job as the guys who's getting all attention to continue to make the right play and trust our guys. And obviously it happened quickly for us. It had to happen quickly for us because of the circumstance that we're in. But I mean, it means a lot to those guys too. When you come in and like the shot Dennis made, against Minnesota. Bron could have, that's his shot going left. He could have shot the fadeaway, but he kicks it to Dennis and he makes it three. So, it gives those guys confidence that we trust them, and we do trust them to make the right play. So, when you got a lot of guys who's in it for each other and want to win, everybody's on the same page. It doesn't matter who scores, as long as we score the basketball and continue to make the right plays.
All right, that's Anthony Davis right there. Lakers take game one in Memphis, 128-112 the final score. So big-time win for the Lakers, much-needed win for the Lakers, great start to the series for the Lakers, and it at least sets them up a little bit here. We'll obviously have to wait as things just progress here on the status of Ja Morant coming up for Wednesday. But the Lakers can only control what they can, and it's just a big-time win. No other way to put it. And how the Lakers got the win, I think, is what makes a lot of Laker fans excited, simply because you got so many role players contributing on top of what LeBron and Anthony Davis did. Okay, a couple shout-outs here. Thank you to the whole crew. A lot of people working today, but thank you to Michael Funches. Thank you to Wilbert Flores, Tyler Whitman on our social team, Cody Lou, so everybody that helped out there. Our next broadcast is going to be on Wednesday, so Lakers in Memphis for Game 2 of the first round. Local coverage began at 3, tip-off at 4:30. Got a few days before that happens. Tomorrow we'll have a full slate of shows, so a lot of chance to react to this win over the next couple of days. We'll start with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. I'll do my show with Travis Rogers, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Mason and Ireland, Sedano and Cap. And then Lakers Talk tomorrow, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. So we'll continue that Laker conversation. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Lakers grab game one, 128-112, the final score. I'm Alan Sliwa. This has been the Pizza Hut Lakers postgame show on 710 ESPN.
Thank you for
Lakers basketball on ESPN LA is sponsored by Subaru of Glendale.
the #1 volume.